Hey everybody, my name is Jared and I am a Master Mason in the state of Mississippi in the United States of America. And today's viewer question is, what do you have to actually do or study to progress to your different degrees? Well, that's a great question, and obviously I'm not going to tell you everything that needs to be done, but I will tell you this. Think about any standard employment. Any standard employment, you start off, as they like to say, at the bottom of the totem pole, and you learn some of the very generic parts of the employment. And when you can prove that you can do those things in the right way, maybe you have to be able to perform a certain task. Maybe you have to be able to remember certain procedures that have to be done at certain times, or certain calculations, or whatever the case may be. There comes a point where you're recognized for knowing that knowledge, and then you're eligible to move further up the ladder, and you get a better paying job. Maybe you have a middle management type of position and become a supervisor or something to that effect. And then in that new job, you still use a lot of what you learned in your first position when you first started working with the job. But now you have new things you need to learn. Maybe you're in this middle management example, you're having to learn how to manage people better and not just yourself. Maybe you're having to learn new types of things that have to be recorded, and how to record them and how to report them and things like that. But there's new things that you have to learn. And then maybe if you keep going up this mythical corporate ladder we're talking about, you prove proficient in those skills, they say, we want you to be a regional manager, and now you're going to be over a whole bunch of managers. And now you have even more skills you have to learn to be able to do that job. So I think if you can approach Freemasonry degrees with that type of understanding, then you're at least moving in the right direction to understand what it is, or even why it is. You have to learn things before you can go from one degree to another. Now, I have heard stories that in other jurisdictions you have also a certain time in service that has to take place. Meaning if you are initiated as an entered apprentice, you cannot become a fellow craft unless you have been an entered apprentice for a certain length of time. And in fact, I've even heard what is perhaps a more extreme point of view is that if you have been an entered apprentice for a certain length of time, and if I remember right, it was a very long time that I was told, that before you could get your fellow craft, you actually have to get your entered apprentice degree again because you've been an entered apprentice for too long. Here in the state of Mississippi, if you are initiated as an entered apprentice, you can remain an entered apprentice the rest of your life and never lose your affiliation with Freemasonry. It's up to you to come back and say, I want to learn how to do this job so that I can advance. And you're taught the things that you would need to know, and then you can advance to the next degree. Generally speaking, what we're talking about is memory work. We're talking about you having to be taught an item, and then when asked for that item again, being able to give it back verbatim. So that's the kind of thing that you're looking to do. And that is something that we like to make sure people understand is a part of Freemasonry, because not everybody learns the same way. And sometimes being a Freemason and the fact that they don't really know what they're getting into until they've already become initiated, sometimes that's intimidating to people, but other times having to learn the memory work is what concerns people. And as far as my lodge is concerned, we have people up there every week, sometimes 2 or even 3 times a week, at the lodge to study and to teach people the things they need to know so they can become proficient in the degree that they are working on. And to take that even one step further, the fraternity requires a certain standard of a proficiency before you can be eligible for the next degree. In our lodge, we take it a step further, and rather than just teach you the test, so to speak, we want to make sure you understand why you're being even asked a certain question, why you have to learn a certain thing, and what the real meaning behind it is. Because we find that if you understand that, first, it makes your learning easier. Second, it helps you retain it for a longer period of time, so it can help your advancement in Masonry down the line. And it can help you for the actual purpose of Freemasonry, which is helping you become a better person. Because just learning the memory work doesn't do you anything when it comes to actually improving yourself. You have to understand the meaning behind the words if you're going to try to improve yourself. So I hope that gives you some explanation on what it takes to actually progress to the different degrees. If you have any other questions, leave them down in the comments below. And as always, we'll see you next time. Bye.